Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options to Play video update. The last few videos I've done have really revolved around earnings. Today's video just more about something I'm noticing and kind of how it's impacting some of or may impact some of the swing trades moving forward. And it's that group of stocks that has just really been crushed, right? So it's not just a specific sector or just like a specific type of name. I mean, it's all sorts of different companies or different stocks have really been just smoked, right? Like off of their 20 to 21 highs. Some just are down even more, 2022. So the damage has been pretty dramatic in a lot of different areas. And what's interesting is that they're for a lot of them are trading kind of in tandem with one another, even though like their businesses maybe don't have much in common with those other companies, right? So for me, like I kind of just classify them as like the beaten up group, right? Because they're stocks that are down, excuse me, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% off their high. And they've basically been riding the 8 EMA and the 20-day to the downside, right? So CrowdStrike, it's been a great software stock for a long time. Though the last couple months, it's really fallen pretty sharply, right? So that fell into the category of a beaten up play. I mean, it was just riding the 8 EMA lower, it was riding the 20-day. So you can see just since the start of January, just straight down with the 8 EMA kind of like pressure into the downside, right? So you got the break of the 8 EMA, you got the push of the 20-day, and now for this stock and for basically every setup that's similar to this, it's okay. You have the initial move, right? You have the initial attempt to break the downtrend. Now, can it hold and build, right? Because there's going to be a pullback, right? There's going to be a point at some, whether it's later today, tomorrow, later this week, next week, right? There's going to be a point where this stock is going to pull back, and when it does, where do buyers defend, right? Where do traders step in? Because we've seen bounces before, but they've all fizzled and it hasn't been able to hold and build, right? So if a stock like CrowdStrike, if this can hold above the 20-day now, that to me is gonna indicate a serious change in trend, right? Because you had what was up until this point major resistance, and if buyers start to defend prices above that, that's going to be a great sign, right? And on the chart, I mean, you can see that there's plenty of room. This is a beaten up stock. It's down significantly off its high, and if it can hold above the 20-day, there's a path to the 50-day, which is this black line, right? And that's up around 200, so high 190s, 200. So there's still plenty of room. Same thing with like a UPST, right? So you can see, and again, CrowdStrike, UPST, they have nothing to do with one another. The businesses aren't even like the same group, right? But if you look at the charts, you can see that they're playing out very similar. So UPST got through the 8 EMA, now it's above the 20-day, and it's having like a nice move. So when it does pull back, and there will be a pullback, do buyers defend higher prices, right? Do they step in and get more aggressive, right? And again, same idea. If it holds a 20-day, there could be a path all the way up to the 50-day, and that's in like the 150 area. So there's a lot of room on this one. But what you really just don't want to see is once the buying dries up, just see the stock start to trickle back down, right? To start to gradually drop, lose the 20-day, lose the 8 EMA, because then really nothing has changed, right? Then that trend is still intact, and this was just like a bigger bounce than normal. Whereas, if it really starts to hold, it starts to build, there's room to run, right? In terms of option trades, these can be like short term because when these things move, they can really string together days. So it's all about A, can it hold, and then once it does hold, what's the technical setup, right? Is there also the earnings, because that's going to play into it because we're in earnings season. But if it's past earnings or if earnings still a little ways off, what's the technical setup? Is there room 10%, 20%, right? And then when it comes to options, how does that compare to the average daily move? So, if it moves, for instance, maybe 5% a day, you're targeting a 10% run. That could be a very short-term, like week-long trade. If it moves 5% a day, you're targeting a 20% move. That's probably a couple weeks, right? So, a lot to weigh, but I mean, definitely interesting that some of these names are starting to come to life or coming off the mat, is what I call it. And it would be great to have these back as like a tradable stocks again, because for a lot of them they've been kind of like tough, just grinding lower, and there hasn't been like great trade opportunities. And if they start to come to life, that could really create opportunities in this group that's been kind of beat down. All right, so again, middle of earnings season, lots on the earnings front, but there's also a lot of stock movement under the surface too. So there's things to do, a lot of things moving around. So I'm looking forward to a busy week. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about swing trading with options, please follow up the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great night, stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.